Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article. Now, this is from Fox News. It was published on October 22nd. It's written by Caitlin McFall. And all I got to say is you got to love the pollster class. They seriously are friggin' deluded. Okay? Now, this is a supposed conservative Republican pollster here. Okay? And he can't even admit that the people in his industry are corrupt, deranged idiots who tried to rig an election. Okay, pollster Frank Luntz. If Trump defies polls again, my profession is done. Biden leads in polls, though some are skeptical of a Biden win given the 2016 presidential upset. Well, the thing is they tried to use the polls to rig the election. They tried to, well, I should say influence the election. They tried to basically give this impression that Trump doesn't have a chance in hell, just let Hillary fucking win, okay? When they're saying that 95% chance Hillary's going to win and a 5% chance that Trump is going to win, that's exactly what they were doing. But he can't admit that. The average person can see that shit. We're not stupid. He doesn't want to admit that his own class of people, all right, the pollster class, are killing themselves. They're killing their jobs. They're killing the industry with their Trump deranged bullshit. Let's get into the article here. Republican pollster Frank Luntz told Fox News' Bret Baier on Thursday night that his profession is done if President Trump wins re-election come November 3rd and proves the national polls wrong yet again. Well, here's the thing. If they weren't dishonest, if you didn't have the left and the Democrats creating an environment where you fear reprisal for saying that you're a Trump voter, okay, you wouldn't have people lying saying they're voting for Joe Biden. Okay, you also, with the Trump supporters that are seeing how rigged the polls are, saying, well, you know what, I'm going to fuck with them even more. And they do it for the lulz. They sit there and say, yeah, I'm voting for Biden, all right? The ones that really don't care. All right. And then you have some that are honest about it. But most of the Trump supporters see how crooked you shitbags are in the pollster class. And they fuck with you. Or they're afraid that some minimum wage earning shitbrick who's taking the poll, okay, could be collecting that information. And it could lead, okay, because they know the person's phone number, can reverse look up, they can find out where that person lives. They're afraid of reprisal. So you don't want to look at those things. You don't want to look at any of the factors. You just like, oh, well, if they got it wrong, yeah, my industry's done. You don't look at the system, the problems with the system. I hate to acknowledge it because that's my industry, at least partially. But the public will have no faith, no confidence. They have no faith or confidence right now. The only people who believe the fucking polls are Trump deranged retards and spurgs. Okay, your typical fucking Democrat voter, all those dumb idiot shitbricks buy the polls. Okay, Republicans saw and independents and others that weren't along those lines saw that the polls are complete shit. They don't trust them now, and you're saying, oh, our industry is dead. You know, our livelihoods are going to be gone. No, they're already gone now. You're just trying to hold on. If your idiot buddies in the industry, I'm not saying they are your buddies, but you know what I mean. If they didn't try to rig this election by, influencing the outcome through the polls, then there might be and did them legitimately, mind you, then there might be an increase in confidence in the polls if you were honest about them. But you guys aren't. You people are idiots. You're all high on your own farts. Right now, the biggest issue is the trust deficit, Luntz said in response to Baier asking how pollsters will fare if they are wrong in predicting the 2020 presidential election. Now, this is the thing. For years, the establishment has manipulated the trust of the people. The pollsters is part of this. Okay, because it's like the idea of, a douche in a shit sandwich, like from South Park. The establishment rhino, neocon shitbricks were no different than the Democrats that are still in party now. See, because what happened is when Trump ran and things started shifting, like with the Tea Party and stuff like that before him, okay, the rats started jumping ship. Okay, you had a few of the real hardcore rhino neocons, like, the asshole who fucking around on an aircraft carrier caused the deaths of a bunch of sailors and then basically got away with scot-free, then went to Vietnam, sold out his fellow POWs and got away with it. If you haven't figured it out, I'm referring to McCain, okay? Romney is another rhino neocon shipwreck. He's just holding on right now. He's hoping for the glory days to come back. You look at a lot of the Republicans, the rhino neocon shit is gone, or it's people who were associated with them that were too weak-willed to stand up to him, or rhinos and neocons that have fallen in line. The Democrats haven't had that happen. They haven't had to fall in line. And the thing is, before that, with the Republicans, the polls were the powers that be, the elites deciding basically who we're going to manipulate into the office of president. Who was their guy? And then, like, say with the idea of Bush and Gore, they didn't give a shit because they both were bought and paid for. They're both fucking globalist scumbag shit pigs. So they just give the perception that you're actually getting a legit vote, that you're getting a legit election. They didn't care who won on that one. They didn't care if it was Baby Bush or Bill Clinton. They just gave you the perception that people cared. All right, and if the one became, was going to be more of a favor to them, they like on the note of like what they saw the public would accept, they manipulated the polls and used the news, the legacy media to manipulate people. Now, you don't have that curtain there hiding the little scheme, the little scam that's going on, the little play. And you're worried that this is end for the pollsters? It should have been a long time ago, you manipulative pieces of shit. Should have been long gone. You should have been long fucking gone. It took this long for people to see how full of shit you are. Pollsters did not do a good job in 2016. So if Donald Trump surprises people, if Joe Biden had a 5 or 6 point lead, my profession is done. It should have been done a long fucking time ago. You idiots talk out your ass. You manipulate. It's like anything to do with statistics. You fucking manipulate it to tell whatever the hell you want. Oh, you want to have Biden in the lead over sample Democrats, okay? You want to have Biden in the lead instead of going with likely voters, you go with potential voters because potential voters tend to vote, say they're going to vote Democrat when they actually won't even get off their lazy ass and vote. Be honest about shit. Come on now. National polls largely show Biden with a lead over Trump with 2 weeks until the presidential election. Yeah, the same thing with Hillary. What's your fucking point? You would think Fox News, after the last election, with the people who actually watch and read Fox News, you would think they would be pointing that out. You would think that they would be pointing out all the oversampling of Democrats, specifically taking polls in Democrat strongholds to try to rig shit. You would think they would call some of this out during this article, but of course they won't. Real Clear Politics, which pulls together several national polls and takes the average, shows Biden up by 7.9 points. Oh, excuse me. Though in battleground states, the former vice president is only up by 3.8 points, well within the margin of error, which generally hovers around plus or minus 4 points. And some of them have like plus or minus 5 or 6 points, so that should tell you how accurate these polls are. Hillary Clinton was projected to win in 2016 with polling consistently similar to Biden. No! Wow, Fox News. Hello? Consistent with Hillary? He's doing shittier than Hillary was doing. Point for point. In the in the run up to the election itself, date for date, he is doing shittier. Be honest. I mean, Good Morning Britain. Yeah, let's put Good Morning Britain here. It looks like Biden is in a very strong position for Election Day. Pollster and GMB Election 2020 expert Frank Luntz shares his thoughts about the final presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Stay tuned for Frank's U.S. election guide right here. Yeah, and this idiot Lutz here still thinks Biden's going to win. He can't admit that how corrupt and how skewed the polls are. 538's election project gave Clinton an 86% chance of winning during this point in the last presidential race. I love how you leave out a bunch of the other polls saying 95% at this point, but whatever. Biden is currently projected to win with an 88% probability. Bullshit. Some polls appear to show a tighter race in their polling this time around, but Luntz, a GOP pollster, still thinks that Biden will win the presidency after claiming that Trump won the second and final presidential debate Thursday. Which absolutely makes no sense. You've got a corrupt fucking politician, and he's still, okay, who's being exposed for taking money from China, Ukraine, Uzbekistan or some shit, all these fucking countries, and oh yeah, Biden's still going to win. You can tell this guy is a never Trumper. He can't even be fucking honest. He can't even be honest. He's a Republican pollster, and he still can't even be honest, which goes to show that people in the media class, okay, pollsters, journalists, the term that I use very loosely, all right, most of them are Trump deranged. You can't trust them. Oh, I'm a Republican. Yeah, but you're a never Trumper. You're going to say you're a Republican? I mean, because you look at them. If you're going to say you're a never Trumper, okay, you're a rhino neocon piece of shit that doesn't like the fact that he peed in your cereal by winning. Oh, God. You got to give Trump a minor victory because he'll bring some undecided voters home, and it will close the race a little bit, Luntz told CNBC Squawk Box Friday. But in the end, I think Joe Biden won the war. No, he didn't. He literally was sitting there with, believe me, written all across his face, lying out his fucking ass about what he did kind of address with the fact of like Russia, supposedly the shit with his kid, you know, his closing. He's sitting there looking like fucking Walter, you know, Jeff Dunham's friggin', ventriloquist dummy with his eyes like that, with this look of, believe me, believe me, believe me. Seriously. Joe Biden won the war. You gotta love this type of bullshit because the thing is, after the debate, Trump's support with blacks, his approval, I should say, is 46%. At that level, even if he gets, say, 30% of the black vote with 46% approval, all right, and you don't think that, like, 50 Cent and Ice Cube, them going on the Trump train, you don't think that's going to help with black voters, which the Democrats ultimately need black voters, which is why they've now gone back to trying to pander to them and push this Black Lives Matter narrative and that they're oppressed and that you need to vote Democrat because, hey, we're going to take care of that oppression. Just shut the fuck up and get back on the fucking Democrat plantation. Hey, we're going to take care of you. Just shut the fuck up and vote Democrat and get on the plantation is what they've been doing. You honestly think when he's got 46% approval, that's going to work for them? You think that Joe's going to win when he has, you know, lost with the Democrats that much of the black community on the note of approval? Seriously? Clinton also faced obstacles that Biden is not necessarily struggling with. Clinton was running in the post-Obama administration era, and reports that after the 2016 upset showed that voters were intrigued by Trump's unusual, non-political behavior and ready for a shift in Washington. Wow, Fox News. It wasn't the fact that she was a corrupt, unlikable, evil bitch that, you know, created a term, you know, through her actions, her and her husband, called Clintoncide. Okay, it had nothing to do with the fact that you had all these people associated with the Clintons getting ruled suicides with 2 shots to the fucking back of the head and 2 to the friggin' heart. That had nothing to do with it. Her corruption, you know, had nothing to do with it. The email servers, you know, the email scandal had nothing to do with her losing, you know. All right. The fact that she did really shitty shady things and pocketed, funneled money, all right, embezzled money from the fucking Haitian shit, okay, after the earthquake. That had nothing to do with it. None of her corruption and criminality had anything to do with her losing. Come on now. She was hated by both sides. The only people that really liked her were the feminazis. Because, that glass ceiling that had already been shattered a long fucking time ago by other politicians around the world. The other major factor that will come into play during the 2020 election is the number of voters who were disillusioned by the 2016 presidential race and opted not to vote at all. Now, this is what's funny. They're actually counting on those disillusioned voters, not changing the election. They're not thinking about the fact that a lot of them are Bernie bros, and they're not about to vote for fucking creepy Uncle Joe. They don't want to admit that. They don't want to even look at that. Because those are a lot of the disenfranchised voters. All right, the disillusioned voters. They're Bernie bros. You don't think a few of them might say, fuck this? Because a bunch of them did in the last election. Said, fuck this, and voted for Trump. You don't think they're going to do it this time? Seriously? Although more people are expected to vote early in the 2020 presidential election, opposed to waiting until election day to vote in person, more than 38% of the number of votes cast in 2016 have already been recorded, with 2 weeks remaining until the general election, according to the new U.S. Election Project. Which should really make you wonder, because people aren't really known for following through and the voting and all that. That should tell you there might be something up with the mail-in voting. Democrats so far have cast their vote at a rate nearly double that of Republicans, though as early polling stations are opening, the ratio will likely start to even out. And they are ignoring the fact, Fox News here, that you've got more people registering as Republican than you do Democrats. You also have the fact that, in Michigan, with the fucking early voting return, the Republicans are fucking leading right now in Michigan with mail-in voting. See, they're selectively telling a fucking narrative. You even have Fox News trying to push a fucking bullshit narrative. All right. Fox News is selling out on Trump now. They never were for Trump in the first place. They were for the fucking ratings. Now they're looking at the fact that they want creepy Uncle Joe in because, we can sit there like we were with Obama. So they're trying to fucking disillusion fucking Trump voters. They actually think pushing shit like this is going to stop them from Republicans from going out and to vote. They leave, a lie through omission here. They leave out that Michigan, Republicans are leading with mail-in voting. They leave out that in other states, it's close with the mail-in voting right now. They're leaving all this out. Go figure. When Luntz is trying to say, creepy Uncle fucking Joe is going to win. What does that tell you? Seriously. Anyway. I've covered this well enough. I'm leaving things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.